What's good, Commanders fans, man? It feels so weird. The Commanders are attacking the linebacker position. It's not a David Mayo signing, a Cody Barton, cheap one-year deal type of signing. It just feels really odd. It's a new regime. It's a new day, man. And Joe Witt really preaching ball is life. This guy gets to the football, man. We're talking ball is life. Ball is life here. It looks like with the Commanders starting off with these free agent signings, man. I'm just... Wow, I'm really shocked. I mean, I'm kind of brainwashed from the days of Ron Rivera bringing in Thomas Davis from the Panthers, David Mayo, Cody Barton, guys like that. So I mean, to see Adam Peters go after a guy who was the #1 ranked free agent linebacker. I mean, this is just it's just different. It's just different. It's stuff we got to get used to. So Adam Peters is being super aggressive. Dan Quinn, this is a guy that gets to the quarterback. He is a legitimate blitzer, a legitimate pass rusher as a linebacker. Can play all ball. He can play Mike. He can do it all. Look at how many sacks Frankie Luvu had. Undrafted guy, 6'3", 235 pounds, out of Washington State. Got it out the mud. Just works hard, plays hard, all kinds of stuff like that, man. 5.5 sacks this past season. 7 sacks in 2022. Had a pick 6 in 2022. Had a forced fumble. Had 2 forced fumbles last year. Talking ball is life. Talking ball is life. 125 tackles in 2023. 111 in 2022. This is the guy who's going to be quarterback in our defense. So we already had an upgrade from Nick Gates to Tyler Biotic. Now we have an upgrade from Cody Barton to Frankie Luvu. Is this a guy that can make Jamin Davis better, make things easier for Jamin Davis? You know, guys that can get to the football, a guy that can read and react to plays, that gets downhill very fast like Frankie Luvu. So I love this pickup, man. Let's go over some numbers with Frankie Luvu. He was on the Panthers this past couple of seasons. He started off with the Jets. Let's look at him health-wise. He's been relatively healthy as well. 17 games in 2023, 15 in 2022, 16 in 2021, 13 in 2020, 13 games in 2019, 14 games in 2018. Started all 17 games in 2023. Started 14 out of 15 games in 2022 as well. And each year he's gotten better. 3 sacks his rookie year, 1 sack in 2019, 2 in 2020, 1.5 in 2021. Then he went up to 7 and then 5.5. So this is a guy that just gets to the quarterback. And, you know, Dan Quinn, he said he wants guys that he just doesn't want guys to think too much. He wants them to play fast. And this is a guy that I feel like Dan Quinn is going to use as a chess piece to get to the quarterback and just wreak havoc and disrupt a defense. He blitzed 46 times in 2023, 57 times in 2022. And he's solid in coverage as well. 60.7 completion percentage allowed in 2023. Quarterback rating of 94.8. So, I mean, this is just an upgrade overall. He played 56% of snaps inside, 23% outside, can move around the field. 90.1 pass rush grade. 90.1. So, Dorrance Armstrong's going to be getting to the quarterback. Frankie Luvu's going to be getting to the quarterback. Jamin Davis. We talk about, you know, how Dan Quinn said he wants Jamin Davis to get to the quarterback. He wants to use him differently this season. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this defense, man. I'm excited. I really am. Run defense grade is 74.0. Coverage grade is 67.7. So I'm excited, man. Nothing but good things I've heard about Frankie Luvu. Also, Panthers fans are very, very disappointed that he left. He was the heart and soul of their defense, is what I'm hearing on the radio, too. The Panthers play-by-play voice on Craig Hoffman's radio show, he said, you guys got a good one. He plays with his hair on fire. He's always around the football. He was the heart and soul of that defense. He's going to be hard to replace. So, man, nothing but good things we're hearing about Frankie Luvu, man. And he's young, too, 27 years old. You look at the guys that we got. Tyler Biotic, 26. Dorrance Armstrong in his 20s. Now Frankie Luvu, 27. The only older guy that it looks like we may sign or get is Austin Ekeler, and he's really not that old either. He's just older in running back years. So I do want to talk about Austin Ekeler a little bit as well. But yeah, Frankie Luvu played a lot of the Mike position, pass rusher, 12.5 sacks the last 2 seasons, 100 plus tackles the last 2 years, 125 in 2023. Already talked about that. So, I mean, I can't wait to see how Joe Witt uses this guy, man, for sure. I mean, he's just a stud, man. He's just a stud. It's so weird. So weird to get a legitimate linebacker for 84 solo tackles as well. So 84.1 PFF grade since 2021. 6th among linebackers. 6th among linebackers. So he was the highest rated. Patrick Queen was like number 3. Levante David number number 2, and Frankie Luvu number 1. At a 3.9 force incompletion percentage rate given up as well, which is pretty darn good. And he was a captain on the Panthers as well. So, looking for leaders and guys that can take the lead and be a defensive quarterback out there. And Frankie Luvu is a guy that can certainly do that. So, man, I'm excited, man. This is something to get excited. I don't want to get super, super excited. I just want to be cautiously optimistic. But to see the way we've gone with the linebacker position and to see them attack it is a good sign by Adam Peters, a young, innovative mind. Even though people say linebacker, they're devaluing it, but he's attacking it, and he knows that linebacker position. Look at Fred Warner with the Niners. Look at all the good linebackers they have with the Niners. He doesn't want to play around with that position. He wants to get it done. And that was the crazy thing about Ron, is that him and Jack Del Rio were linebackers in the NFL, and they just weren't really aggressive with getting a legitimate linebacker in there. So, great signing. I give this an A to start from looking in, but of course, we'll see how the signing goes. 3 years, $36 million, which I think is fair. Not bad at all. About, $12 million per year. I think that's a fair signing. And they said the Dorrance Armstrong signing, I got to look at that. Nikki Zavala tweeted something out. She said the max for Dorrance Armstrong is 3 years, 45, but it's really like a 3-year, $33 million contract. So I guess the incentives can bring it up to $45 million, but the real contract is about 3 years, 33, because that's why I was saying, I was like, that's a little too much for Dorrance Armstrong, a guy who has never started 17 games, who's been more of a rotational pass rusher or a backup, a positional flex guy. I'm watching one play where he's just like pancaking a guy, suplexing Alexander Madison to get to Kirk Cousins. That's just how powerful and how strong Frankie Luvu is. Now, Frankie Luvu, you look at his measurables, they weren't great coming out. He ran like a 4.8 40-yard dash, but it's about the heart and just the speed and the read and reaction, how smart of a football player that he is. So, and I'm looking at his pre-draft write-up. It says the weakness of speed is below par by NFL standards, but speed hasn't been a problem for him so far as getting to the quarterback. You just got to use him correctly. Lacks explosive traits. That's what it says. Plays with a physical mindset. Plays super, super physical. And that's what Dan Quinn said too. We're gonna be fast and physical, and we're gonna hit. Motor revs and plays with terrific hustle, can sink hips and spin out of wash down blocks and into the play. So that's sideline to sideline speed that he has. Plays as fast as he can most of the time. Feet are fluid and hands are quick. So it's comfortable dropping into coverage as well. So you see him guarding tight ends and getting pass deflections as well. So, all right, let's talk about Austin Ekeler here real quick. So this report was from Josina Anderson. So let me find a report here. It's from Josina Anderson. I think she said us and the Raiders are the other team that is interested in Austin Ekeler. Excuse me. And Austin Ekeler, I mean, he's a good player. I think personally, I think he would be an upgrade over Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson right now is on the he got signed by the Patriots, and I think that Austin Ekeler is who the Commanders wanted him to be. Of course, Scott Turner, other people said Christian McCaffrey, but of course, that was just like a really, really high expectation there. But I think he can be. I think Austin Ekeler is what we were looking for Antonio Gibson, to be honest. So Josina Anderson, I'm told the Commanders and Raiders have made preliminary inquiries on running back Austin Ekeler per source. Situation remains fluid at this time. I don't think you're gonna have to really break the bank on Austin Ekeler, which is a good thing. You look at Grant Paulson. He was talking to PFF Brad about Austin Ekeler right now. He said he thinks he gets about 2 years at $4 million or $5 million per year. Solid check down outlet for a young quarterback. I don't hate the idea. This is a guy who had 100 catches 2 years ago. So this is a guy who can make a guy miss in a phone booth. He's slippery. He's a great third down back, versatile back. Great check down guy, like they said. Great hands. Is like a wide receiver out there in the air raid offense. So you have that 4 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, something like that. I mean, or just spread Austin Ekeler out, use him as a receiver. Basically what you wanted to do with Antonio Gibson. I think that's what you can get in Austin Ekeler. Now, Austin Ekeler had a down season last year. Remember, he requested a trade last year, and the Commanders were reportedly interested. I know this is a different front office, but I guess they have the same ideas as far as getting Austin Ekeler in here. You can have B-Rob as your Thunder back, and then Austin Ekeler as your Lightning back. And you just switch up the pace, man. You can have a home run hitter in Austin Ekeler, and that's what we've been begging for. We just haven't had that guy. And Austin Ekeler, he may not have that juice to him like he did before, but I think he would provide some explosiveness to the team for sure. So since week 6, Austin Ekeler had PFF's lowest graded running back grade with a 54.8. So he didn't have, and he had 3 fumbles since week 6 as well, which was tied for first in the league. So he had 4 drops, which was the 3rd most for running backs in the league since week 6. So 30.9, great for elusiveness, was the 6th lowest. So yeah, ever since week 6, and he was banged up a little bit. I want to look at some of his stats. For the most part, he was staying healthy, though. Like 2022, he played 17 games. 2021, he played 16 games. 2023, he played 14 games. Rushing yards, he had 915 in 2022, 911 in 2021. Receiving yards, he had 722 in 2022, 647 receiving yards. He had 107 receiving yards, receptions in 2022. Like, that would be so helpful for a young quarterback. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, either one of those guys. Austin Ekeler would be so helpful for a young quarterback. Zach Ertz, you sign another tight end. You draft another tight end. Help your young quarterback out. Curtis Samuel's still out there. We'll see what happens with him. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but I wouldn't mind Austin Ekeler. I really wouldn't mind it. I know a lot of people are sticking their nose up. He's 28. He's 28 and 299 days year old. So he's going to be 29 pretty soon. So a 1 or 2 year deal, $4 million, $5 million per year. Saquon Barkley's on the Eagles, so you got to upgrade the running back position. We have to attack that position. And I think he was with Anthony Lynn when Anthony Lynn was with the Chargers. So that could be the connection right there. That could be the interest right there, which totally makes sense. But imagine him in an air raid offense with Terry, Jahan, bring Curtis back or whoever, and then Zach Ertz, B-Rob, Ekeler. So I think that's a really good running back room. Chris Rodriguez, he's still going to be on the roster too. But I think that's a darn good team, man. It's a darn good team. So he had a career high in fumbles. The only thing is he had a career high in fumbles last year with 5. The year before that, he had 5 fumbles as well. Catch percentage, 84%, 68% catch percentage last year, which shows the drops that he had. So it's like, can he have a bounce back season here in Washington? Look at what Cliff Kingsbury did with James Conner. Look at what he did with those guys. Chase Edmonds, he got the best out of James Conner. James Conner had a career renaissance with Cliff Kingsbury. So I'm interested. How many touchdowns did Ekeler have too? Ekeler had 13 rushing touchdowns in 2022 and 5 receiving touchdowns in 2022. 2021, he had 12 touchdowns on the ground, 8 receiving touchdowns. And then this past season, 2023, he had 5 touchdowns on the ground and 1 receiving touchdown. So he regressed this year. But he wouldn't be the number 1 back. He would be your number 2 back behind B-Rob. So he'd be in that J.D. McKissick role, that Chris Thompson role. So I'm intrigued by Ekeler, man. I really am. I'm intrigued by Austin Ekeler. Like I said, you don't have to break the bank for him. So I'm really intrigued in Ekeler. So I think Adam Peters, I like it. I don't mind it. And then last year he signed a deal. He was in a deal for 4 years, $24 million. And he requested a trade, but they didn't grant him. Actually, they granted permission for him to seek a trade. I just don't think he was able to find a trade partner or a suitor. And no team was really willing to pay him anything. But he's an unrestricted free agent right now, man. So I would take a look at him, man. You know, you look at what the Eagles are doing. They just signed Saquon. So I mean, they're trying to make another dream team or whatever. So we gotta make some moves, guys. The Cowboys don't have any running backs at the moment. I like that a lot, but I don't want to jinx it. They might get Derrick Henry. We'll see. But I'm gonna check Twitter real quick before I wrap it up, just to make sure that nothing else has happened here, man. But yeah, just to go from David Mayo and guys like that, and Cody Barton and guys like that to Frankie Luvu, man, it's just insane. It's just like something I would never think would happen with the Commanders for sure. So the Giants just got Brian Burns. So yeah, they're making moves. The NFC East is making moves, man. And then imagine Frankie Luvu behind Jonathan Allen, behind Deron Payne, behind those 2 nasty defensive tackles like that. Things are going to be very, very easy for him to get to the quarterback. So imagine that. That might have been a big reason for him to come here too. So that may show you that John Allen is definitely going to stay here too. So that's something to think about as well. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. In the 3-year, $36 million deal, I think that's a very reasonable, very, very reasonable deal for sure. So the Ravens and Derrick Henry have been in contact today. So that's the only things I see that's going on right now. 49ers are signing Leonard Floyd, so Chase Young might be available. I don't think he's going to come back here, but I'm just saying that's some of the news. In the center position, a lot of centers have gone off the board, but we already got our guy. Left tackle, that is something that we need to attack. There's a lot of guys that are available out there too. Buccaneers are trading Carlton Davis to the Lions per Tom Pelissero. So, all right, you guys. I probably should have went live for this, but I'll just give you guys a quick video. All right, you guys. Help Commanders. Peace.